Welcome to the PileMedic training video Australia edition. We will run through the installment steps and have a list of protective equipment and consumables required. Spacers are attached to the pile. Whether the pile is concrete, timber or steel, this will create an annulus around the pile so that an infill grout can be poured or pumped in. The spacers are spaced evenly, and in this instance they are installing additional reinforcement bars. The spacers have a certain spacing horizontally and vertically. The amount of spacers required per pile diameter will be given to you in your ITP or drawing. Leave a minimum of 10mm gap between your PileMedic sheet and your reinforcement GRP rods. We are preparing the first PileMedic sheet, and it is cut 2 times the circumference plus 200mm. Sandpaper the sheet so that we maintain a nice bond between the sheet and the underwater resin. When mixing the 220 epoxy, there is a certain amount of mixing time required, which is 3 minutes. It goes from a black and white to a grey consistent colour. It's mixed at a 2:1 ratio. It's spread where required. Then in the second phase, they use a notched trowel. On the first sheet, we are only applying the epoxy to certain areas of the sheet, and should be approximately 1 to 1.6mm thick, equivalent to a credit card. Approximately 3/4 of the sheet has been coated, and that's the second part of the sheet wrapped around the pile. The vice grips are to hold onto the sheet. To hold the seam and sheet in place, tape is applied horizontally and vertically. They are now marking out the position of the epoxy for the second sheet and applying it as they did with the first. We have got a 100mm overlap vertically, and it is now being wrapped around. Undo the initial vice grips, and now you apply the vice grip over the double thickness of the PileMedic. Here we go once again. Apply cloth tape to the horizontal seam, and also apply cloth tape to the seam around the vertical region just to hold the epoxy on the seam. We then use industrial cling wrap to wrap the pile. Once the grout or the infill has been poured, we remove the plastic cling. Apply some cloth tape over the seams as guides so the epoxy can be applied over the seams to seal the edges.
Grout installation. Mix grout and pour into the space between the pile and jacket. For water applications, use tremi-grout method. For tremi-grouting, place hose on the inside of the jacket all the way to the bottom. Pump grout until the inside level of grout is approximately 6 inches above the hose nozzle. Continue pumping while lifting the nozzle of the hose at the same rate until the entire annular space of the jacket is filled.